not only to the public through traditional and new media channels, but also to the leadership of the Electoral Commission by email. CODIO follows a strict protocol and has thus always taken great pains to ensure its close of poll statement and other reports record and reflect only that which is factually and contemporaneously observed and documented by its assigned observers and team. CODIO does not rely on hearsay or uncorroborated third-party accounts. CODIO is therefore surprised that claims or assertions it did not make in its initial statement have been attributed to it by the Electoral Commission of Ghana in a press statement and at a press conference, apparently in reaction to the CODIO statement. For the avoidance of doubt, CODIO wishes to state categorically that, 1, contrary to the impression created by the EC regarding the shooting incident at Labauleshi, CODIO did not indicate anywhere in its statement that the said shooting incident took place at a polling station. CODIO was clear in its statement that CODIO observers witnessed the violent incident, including shooting incident, which took place in the Labauleshi area at East Legon. The CODIO statement also did not in any way attempt to link the Electoral Commission to the shooting incident, contrary to the EC's claim. CODIO, in fact, pointed out that its observers could not confirm the exact cause of the violent incident. 2, the Electoral Commission also in its statement denied that the violent incident which took place at Labauleshi affected voting. According to the Commission, the incident did not in any way disturb the conduct of the poll. CODIO wishes to reaffirm its initial observation that as a result of the panic and chaos emanating from the shooting incident, voting was in fact temporarily disrupted at a polling station close to the shooting incident. Indeed, a media report of an interview with the Electoral Commission's own Municipal Director for Elections, that's the one for Ayawase West Wogon, confirms that voting was disrupted for about 45 minutes in the wake of the shooting incident before normalcy was restored. And the source of this is at Ghana Web, Ghana homepage. When you Google, you'll get this information there. The information given by the municipal officer with regards to this particular information. 3, regarding the presence of security personnel at polling stations, CODIO is baffled by the EC's indication that CODIO had suggested in its statement that the presence of station security officers specifically or in and of itself disrupted the voting process. CODIO made no such attribution or linkage. CODIO's main concerns regarding security arrangements for the by-elections were explicitly stated as the apparent lack of proper security coordination for the election and the heavy and intimidating processes of security personnel at various polling stations. The display of a lack of understanding of the electoral rules and regulations by some plainclothes, that means not uniformed, security personnel, and the presence of masked security operatives at some polling stations. CODIO further wishes to point out that its general observation about the security deployment for the by-election, as stated in its statement, was not limited to station security personnel, but also mobile patrol teams. Indeed, security operatives in some of the mobile patrol vehicles sighted by observers at some polling stations were armed. Regarding the incident at a polling station at the precinct's JHS polling station at Roman Ridge, where a stationed uniformed police officer was attacked for questioning and directing some plainclothes security operatives at the police station to reposition themselves, CODIO stands by the account of its observer and is ready to cooperate with the Electoral Commission and the security agencies to undertake further investigation into this matter. 5, contrary to the Electoral Commission's suggestion that CODIO did not provide an overall picture of the content of the polls, CODIO wishes to draw the attention of the EC to the paragraph in the CODIO statement which noted that apart from the main concerns regarding security arrangements for the by-election, and I quote, most observers reported of a generally smooth voting exercise, including the smooth performance of biometric devices, end of quote. The CODIO statement further touched on other issues, such as the presence of party agents at polling stations and the generally low voter turnout, which indeed has been confirmed by the EC's official turnout figure for the by-election at 19.83%. CODIO further reiterates the point indicated above that its close of poll statement, which is typically released at the end of voting, provides a snapshot of an election. Indeed, the CODIO initial statement clearly indicated that CODIO will continue to observe the counting and declaration of results and will issue its preliminary statement in due course. CODIO wishes to assure the EC and the general public that, in line with its standard practice, its final report on election, which will provide a comprehensive assessment of the by-election, will be released in the coming days. CODIO has attached as an appendix to this statement its close of poll statement as released on the evening of Thursday, January 31st, 2019. CODIO also wants to assess the Electoral Commission of Ghana, to assure the Electoral Commission of Ghana, election stakeholders, and the general public that it remains unflinching in its commitment to impartiality, objectivity, and neutrality, and that its sole interest in the country's electoral process is the promotion and assurance of electoral integrity. In this regard, CODIO's observation efforts are aimed at complementing the efforts of the EC in ensuring electoral credibility. In discharging this responsibility, CODIO has always endeavored to work cooperatively and in good faith with the Electoral Commission, as CODIO sees itself not as standing in an adversarial relationship with the EC, but as working ultimately toward a common end of ensuring transparent, credible, and peaceful elections and election management in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the piece as regards the misrepresentation. Thank you very much for listening, and I hand you over to Mr. Abrampa.
Well, I think now we'll ask if there are any questions.
Yes, sure. So if there are any questions, you raise your hand, you come forward, and we'll give you the mic to ask a question.
Yes, copies will be made available to...
if there are any questions, clarifications, anything you have on the statement that has just been read. Yes, one. Any other? Please come forward. You mention your name and your media house and you ask a question.
Thank you so much. My name is Abdurrahman from GTV. I was on ground on the fateful day. I want to ask, is it the presence of those operatives at the Labaoleshi Center? Did it affect low turnout at just the center or the entire low turnout that we had for the whole exercise?
Thank you. Any other? So his question is to find out whether what he saw as the heavy security presence at Labaoleshi is what we are translating to mean affecting the entire 137 polling station turnout. Yes, sir. Your name and your house.
My name is Daniel. I'm from Star FM. I would like to know what your assessment of the performance of the EC is on the current by-election.
I don't know whether we would like to touch on that. As we did indicate, we're going to release a full statement on the assessment of the entire election. And the assessment does not only border on the EC. Election is organized on stakeholdership. The media plays a role, the political parties, security agencies, the electoral commission, and with the civil society. So any role that was played on the election will be assessed. This, we want to address specific issues, so let's restrict ourselves to these issues, please. Any other? Okay, so let's respond to the first one.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We've received data from all our observers who went on election day. We've analyzed, we are finalizing our report. But so far, analysis of the data indicates to us that turnout generally was low across various polling stations. There might be a variety of reasons. It's up to all of us to go into these reasons. At the University of Ghana in particular, for instance, we noted a very, very low turnout at some of the polling stations. So it cut across, and I think as we can see from the EC's official turnout figures, the figure really is low generally. Thank you very much.
We try to answer that question.
Whether we are attributing the
entire general low turnout
to the presence of the security.
Yes. Because when the story broke out, it was all over TV stations.
Yeah.
So I might be home at 11 a.m. or 12 noon going to
the
cast
polls,
my votes. If I see what's happening.
Well, during by-elections, turnout is generally lower than during a full election where we are electing parliamentary candidates as well as a president. So I think in most elections, there will be generally a lower turnout than at general elections. But in this particular case, if you are a voter, not in La Bawaleshi, but elsewhere, and you notice that or you hear that something has happened, it might or might not stop you from going to vote. So I think it would be wrong of us to say that the shooting incident is what brought about a lower turnout. We cannot say that. We are observers, and being observers, we only observe and more or less put out what we see, not what we hear or what others tell us. But we do know that generally speaking, we tend to have a lower turnout at by-elections. But we cannot therefore say that in the case of the La Bawaleshi, no, the Ayawaso Wogong constituency, it was purely as a result of the shooting incident. It would be wrong of us to start concluding, because where is the evidence? We only go with evidence.
Thank you very much. So as Brothers said, we need as stakeholders assess the process and see what might have been the cost. As she said, it was low in all the centers, but at University of Ghana station, it was very low. Probably they were not in school, probably some of them had completed school. There were so many things that can come involved from that. So we cannot conclude. But as we put it out there, then we begin to assess how do we make by-elections attractive such a way that we have a higher turnout in future. That's the essence of our reports. Any other clarification? Yes, sir, please. Your name and your media house.
My name is Maxwell. I work for Joy FM and JoyNews. JoyNews, I should say. After the elections, in fact, after Kodu's statement, the press release, we've done critical analysis of the new videos emerging. In fact, in one of the videos, we had someone who was supposed to be a national security person actually saying that this is the beginning of 2020. New videos have emerged. We've seen how plainclothes men brutalized, Ghanaian citizens. Some have said that this is a pale shadow of what is likely to happen in 2020 if we don't nip this thing in the bud. characteristically of all of the numerous by-elections we've witnessed, Talensi and other places. I want to find out from Kodio, what is your position, on this? The fact that we have people in NSC, attack, brutalizing people who've gone to polling stations to cast their ballot. I want to know Kodio's position on this. Thank you.
Any other? We would like to take one or two, then we'll respond.
We can have a position on this.
Any other? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So your name and your media house, or where are you coming from?
Thank you very much. I'm Jedediah Patrick Anefi. I report for CTV. Taking advice from what just happened in the Ayawasu West Wagon by-election, I would like to find out from Kodio what I'm talking of pragmatic measures should the Electoral Commission take in place as we head towards the 2020 general elections. Thank you.
What should we do ahead of 2020? It's been jotted down. Would you like to take a break or two? Do we take a break?
I think our recommendations will be included in our report. It will be based on evidence of all that we observed. It will be improper for us to conclude stating recommendations now when we haven't given you the full report. It is the full report which will lend us to make recommendations. And we always have recommendations in our report. I don't want us to start saying things that will not be correct at the end of the day. All this will be based on what we have received from our various observers, and using the data that we have, then we have our final report and recommendations.
Okay, so Rhoda will add.
Yes, I think Prof has said it, but just to add that, fortunately, the incidents, the violence that was recorded has generated a lot of discussions. Like somebody said, this kind of violence has been witnessed in the past in other by-elections. But maybe because this one happened in Accra here, or for some other reasons, this has generated a lot of public interest and discussions. And we can all tell from the outpouring of messages from all quarters of our society. The key thing is, what do we make out of all these discussions moving forward? How do we really transform some of these discussions into real